How's it going, y'all? My name is Braden Pickett. I'm the competitive sports marketing specialist here at Utah Tech Intramurals. Today, we are going over our 6v6 outdoor soccer rules. These rules will apply only for outdoor soccer, not our indoor league that we'll be running in the spring. First and foremost, in order to participate, you do have to be enrolled at the university in order to play. We do have one exception with that rule, where since this is an outdoor sport, if you are enrolled but your spouse is not enrolled, your spouse can still play as long as you have a valid ID card. With your ID card, you have to have your physical ID. It can't be a picture of it. It can't be just the barcode. It can't just be the picture. We have to have your physical Utah Tech student ID. If you have one that still says Dixie State, we will take the Dixie State ID. We don't want you to have to go and pay money just so you can play intramurals outside of your intramural fees. As far as location, make sure you check imleagues.com for all locations for where your game will be played. However, the three primary locations will be the Innovation Plaza, which is just across the street from the football stadium, the Lower Trailblazer Stadium, which is just underneath the stadium to the south, as well as the Lower Encampment Mall, or just south of the library. Ejections, any form of physical combat, pushing, punching, kicking, or anything of the sort at any time can lead to an ejection. We are being more and more adamant about it every single year, trying to let people know that we won't tolerate fighting of any kind. We also do not tolerate words of hate. If you're out there, we understand sometimes things slip out. That happens. We understand that. However, when you start directing them towards other players, we have to get involved and we might have to eject you from the game. An ejected player must schedule a meeting with the Assistant Director of Campus Recreation. That'll be Tracy Collins, David Howell, or myself, in order to go over disciplinary reasons. For minor ejections, oftentimes it'll just lead to a warning and you'll get back into play. However, on the severe side, it may disband you from playing all intramurals for the rest of the year. Sportsmanship, we do give every team a grade on a scale from A, B, C, D, and F at the end of every game. In order to make playoffs, you have to maintain a 3.0 average. At the end of the season, if you do not have a minimum of a 2.0 going into your next game, you will be disqualified. So please try to make sure that you're maintaining good sportsmanship, you're being respectful, and remember, this is intramural sports. You're not being scouted. We're just here to have some fun. And lastly, we're all here to make connections, make friends. This is a way for us to kind of get out of our dorms, get engaged, and try to do something fun and physical. Forfeits. The minimum players that you need in order to play is 4. Since this is both a co-ed, men's and women's league, for co-ed, if you only have 4 people show up, 2 of them have to be women. At any given time, if you're playing with more men than women, it will lead to a disqualification. You can always play with more women than men. However, the amount of men and women has to be equal, if not more with women. If that makes sense. As far as your roster goes, you can only play on 1 team per sport, per league. So if you're playing co-ed flag football, you can also play co-ed soccer. But you can't be on 2 different co-ed soccer teams. You can be on a co-ed soccer team and a men's soccer team, just not the same. Now, if you are going to be on a co-ed and a men's soccer team, just know that there might be a chance that your schedule will overlap. At that point, we just ask you to make a decision on what court you want to be on. We can't guarantee that we will make it work for every single game, but we can try our best to help you guys out. Fields and players. Will be played between 2 teams of 6 players each, minimum of 4. Each team will be required to designate a team-speaking captain. So if you have any person, we just need somebody to talk to at the start of every games to go over our coin toss, or sometimes we'll do rock, paper, scissors to determine who gets the ball first. Equipment, each team is responsible for their own practice ball. We will not give you the game ball to practice with. This is a rule that we've set for every single sport, so we're not just singling out a singular sport here. We do require you to bring your own ball to practice with. Come game time, if you and the other team want to use a different ball, say you both bring a junior ball and you want to use that instead of our regulation sized, that is a-okay, but both teams have to agree on the ball that is being used. If neither teams can agree, then we'll use the university's game ball. Our game will be 32 minutes divided into 2 halves of 16 minutes. We'll have a 2-minute halftime or intermission between the first and second period. In co-ed, women's goals are going to be worth 2 points and men's goals are going to be worth 1 point. There is a mercy rule. If the goal difference is 5 goals or greater within 5 minutes or less to play in the second half, the game will end. Over time, we might adjust this as well, depending on how our teams do. In the past, we've done, if you're up 10 goals at the end of the first, we call the game at half. But just keep in mind, if there's a 5-goal difference, you're at risk of being forfeited or mercy ruled. Kickoff will be the exact same as how it is for every major soccer league and organization. If you've played soccer before in your past, you should know how kickoff goes. You have to pass it in order to put it into play. Very common rule. We've had some people try to kick a goal right at the start. Can't do that. For championship play, we have 5 minutes of running time. There is no sudden victory. This is for overtime. So during the regular season, there will be a single 5-minute running clock until there is a winner. However, if there is no winner after 5 minutes, it will be a tie. Once we hit playoffs, though, we cannot have a game end in a tie. Penalty kicks. Penalty kicks may be attempted by 4 players picked by the team who have not been ejected. Once the goalkeeper has been designated, they shall not replace unless there is an injury or unless somebody is ejected. A coin toss will be used to determine the first team to kick. The winner gets to choose whether they kick first or last, or if you get the ball to start or in the second half. There is no offsides in intramural soccer. Use that to your advantage if you would like. We have teams in the past that have used this rule as a way for an advantage, but just keep in mind, if you see somebody offsides and you start yelling at our refs, they're offsides, they're offsides. We don't have offsides. That is one of the biggest ones that I'm going to tell you now that we will run into issues down the road. Try to keep in mind there are no offsides in this league. Slide tackling is prohibited. This is the other big one. I know a lot of us, it's ingrained in us, the way that we've played throughout high school, middle school, travel ball. We all are accustomed to slide tackling. In intramurals, there is no slide tackling. If a man slide tackles a woman, it will lead to an immediate ejection. In most instances, slide tackling will result in an automatic foul or at possibility of a penalty kick. At any time, our officials can issue any penalty card to a player. Your first yellow card will be a warning. Your second yellow card will count as a red card, and you will be eliminated for the remainder of the game. If you receive a red card, same thing, you're ejected from the game. If a player accumulates 2 red cards during the season, they will be eliminated from play for the rest of the season, and that includes playoffs, unless you come and meet with me, the assistant director, or the director of campus recreation. Outside of that, there are no other major rule changes besides it's just regular outdoor soccer. Try to keep things clean. Remember, we're here to have fun. We're here to have a good time. Let's have some fun. Go Trailblazers.